The push for wokeness in games. Sad.
There's a crazy push for wokeism in gaming right now. It's clear
Indeed.
this isn't coming from the majority of gamers, like you and me.
This is coming from the super minority of gamers, from who 41 out of 100 is not going to be around in most likely 5 years. It's just nature taking its course, one would say.
And it's clearly not something your average gamer even wants in games. But, unfortunately, it's still having a massive impact on the companies we once loved and trusted. What's fascinating to
Rip BioWare, rip Ubisoft,
me is that it doesn't seem
rip Bethesda, rip EA.
to be a clear or logical reason behind this drive. Gamers aren't stupid. We can see that this goes beyond the simple call to diversity and inclusion, especially when the push.
Now see, here he is wrong. He's right about the fact that gamers aren't stupid. I have talked about this many of a time. You don't need me to tell you what your eyes see right in front of you. In fact, if I say something stupid, probably everyone's calling me out in the comment section about it. I'm not stupid, you're not stupid. But the key thing here is these people think you are stupid. Because let's face it. If you put yourself in their shoes, it kind of makes sense to think that, because they're millionaires. The people who are pushing this down the ladder, they're millionaires. Some of them are billionaires. They have so much generational wealth, even 3 generations of Nepo babies will not destroy it. The 4th one will, okay? The average generational wealth does not last more than 3 generations because nepotism is a real thing. But in any case, well, that's just how life works. And these people, they are thinking to themselves. This is what all these people who are pushing these ideologies are thinking, okay? They are thinking very... I'm gonna let the cat out. Oh, perfect. Almost like that was intended. Okay? These people are thinking the exact same thing, all of them, because it makes sense. If you were these millionaires and billionaires, you would be thinking the same thing. I would be thinking the same thing. And that is, well, I'm a millionaire and billionaire. Clearly, I understand how to live life better, because there are people who are currently fighting over scraps and living on minimum wage. And they're not bettering their life even though it's so easy. And that is how they are thinking. And that is the natural way that these people are making these decisions. Because they think they obviously know everything better than you. Because they have this self-reinforced thing called being a millionaire or a billionaire. It makes sense, and it's sad, but this is the world we live in.
Itself often frames gamers as the villains. But why is there a push then? And why is it so clearly
Fable is gonna be so delicious when it drops.
self-destructive? I've spent a lot of time the last few weeks thinking about this, and one idea keeps coming.
Saints Row The Awakening? Dude, this was great. This was great. Okay, Saints Row 2022 was seriously just wokeness on overdrive.
Coming to mind that I would like to add to this conversation. I've been trying to wrap my head around people like Alyssa Morcante, Matt Hansen, Kim Belair, and Cameron Wild. Your typical...
You shouldn't. That sounds like a very, very horrible time, not gonna lie.
drivers of this destructive narrative in the gaming industry. What's driving them and many others to this radical...
Self-doubt, self-pity, self-righteousness. A lot of very, very, very self-egotistically centered circumstances, one might even say. That's probably what's driving them.
push for wokeism in gaming. The more I look into it, the more I see these insane...
Kim Belair, though, I don't think she's actually even that woke. She probably believes that shit, but Kim Belair is just someone who wants to make money at the end of the day more than anything, okay? The ideology is secondary to making money. That's the only thing.
Insane bombshells that come out of nowhere, like Cameron Wild stating that their mission through Sweet Baby Inc. is to burn the gaming industry to the ground.
Just so we're clear, this is a real slide. We want cooler stories, a safer world, burning the game industry to the ground.
Or Alyssa Morcante, an ex-senior editor of a gaming journalist company, Kotaku, physically threatening critics of DEI.
And that the games industry is diverse naturally. Not
Naturally.
because anyone's making them be diverse. Because the
Ah,
world is diverse, you stupid mother.
the world is not diverse. The world is extremely racist if you're not a moron, okay? Everyone hates everyone, and those who believe otherwise, they have not fucking touched grass, okay? Jesus.
And if you have a problem with that, come fight me. Physically.
People offered. She chickened out.
Has anyone taken you up on that yet?
No, because they're all
Yep.
Or Kim Belair, the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., receiving praise at a conference after proudly declaring she's the one pushing for wokeness and killing the gaming industry.
I am the crazed CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., the DEI-obsessed censorship mafia who is currently ruining and wokeifying all of the video games that you've ever played.
While she said it as a joke, it came across as
Oh, this is not a joke. Don't misunderstand. She fully believes that. She fully understands that. She just does not give a single fuck about that, okay? It's just part and parcel of doing business, as one might honestly say in this situation. It's not even close, boys, okay? Let me tell you right that. It's not even close.
forced sarcasm, an attempt to deflect criticism while seemingly still making her intentions clear. Another insane bombshell would be Matt Hansen openly promoting the illegal practice of excluding an entire race and gender, white dudes,
Based? Oh, no, not based.
from being allowed to apply for a job at Obsidian.
Well, actually, no, that's pretty based, because Obsidian needs to die at this point.
To black artists out there who are looking for portfolio reviews or job advice, my DMs are open and you will always have my priority. We got
Nice.
too many crusty white dudes in this field. Please let me help you replace me one day. I want to go back to living in the woods. Then go do it. I feel like that'd be better for everybody.
Why does this exist? Even though it's so clearly damaging the reputation and sales of the games or companies they push their agendas through. Personally, I believe this is a deeply moral issue. There's no proven financial benefit to pushing the narrative that white
There is a proven negative benefit to this. Which, I mean, you don't need to even work in finance to understand, wait a minute, most things that go woke do go broke. Again, sayings exist because of a reason. Everything exists because of a reason. There is no such thing in this world that got just made up, became a widely accepted thing, and did not exist for a reason. It doesn't happen.
men are bad and that gamers are the problem. There clearly isn't a financial gain from those pushing these woke agendas. So what's driving it? I believe this comes down to the amazing human nature we all have, which is to try to dismantle systems we believe to be unjust. Humans, not all of us, but most of us, have this beautiful innate desire for justice, but this can only ever work against systems that actually exist. It's true that some gamers don't help disprove the accusations.
He's technically, well, you know, on a word-for-word basis, not true. We don't have an ingrained thing for justice in us. But we do have an proactive want and need and desire to see the right thing happen. Justice is not a concept that we even understand, okay? But an ingrained thing for the right thing to happen is there. Yes.
Of systemic hatred within the gaming community.
It's a female talking to me right now. It's a female talking to me. Get off the game and do your husband dishes.
Toxic behavior is a widespread issue across the internet, on virtually any platform where people can hide behind anonymous aliases. This is an internet-wide problem.
Didn't they actually prove it when you remove the alias? Nothing really fucking changes?
Not a gamer-specific one. This idea for systemic hatred within the gaming community doesn't exist, but this is an inconvenient truth for those pushing this agenda, so good luck trying to convince them of that. Now, from their perspective, this is why I believe that the fight for wokeness is well intended by those pushing for it. There's a saying that always comes to mind when I see people like Kim Belair or Matt Hansen or any of these progressive.
I mean, he has a point, But even the most well of intentions can still lead to hell. Even the most well of intentions can be damaging at the end. There is no such thing as humanity choosing right always. Again, there's no way. Typically, people with the best intentions lead to the greatest disasters. That's how it has typically worked.
Out there that are pushing for this. Hurting people hurt other people. When someone gets hurt, it becomes almost instinctive to lash out. In environments of
an eye for an eye would make the world blind.
Perceived injustice, people often can't help but try to fight back. And this is what I believe is clearly happening here.
Put this stuff up to your higher-ups, and if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
Now
I have talked about this before, but again, this is just companies putting too much stock in marketing. I mean, fucking ask Bud Light how marketing is actually working out for them. Ask Jaguar or whatever the fuck they're supposed to be. Copy nothing my ass. How marketing is working for them. Marketing is ridiculously hard to prove that it works for most common items in the world. There are ways to for marketing to be proven to work in gaming and a lot of other things, but unless it's a ginormous success and hit, it's almost impossible to prove that marketing actually impacts stuff. But we are living under the assumption from, I don't know, like the 1950s, that marketing is the most important thing ever.
I don't mean this in an insulting way, and my heart genuinely goes out to these people. But I don't think it's a coincidence that many of the people pushing these narratives share certain traits. Why is it that the majority of those at the forefront of these movements are physically or socially unconventional or unattractive by societal standards? Or why is it that they often come across as unlikable? I find it fascinating that so much of what they push seems to reflect their own personal grievances. They seem to want the gaming industry to look like them, or even to tear down anything that reminds them of what they might envy or resent. Look at the push for female characters to be less attractive. Why is this necessary? Is it truly about representation, or is it about projecting personal insecurities? Or why is it that specific unlikable personalities that obviously reflect a specific type of person are being pushed into stories or narratives?
10 hours of Abby? 10?
Mel's pregnant.
Wait, what? Is that real? Yes, it's real. Yes. You're gonna play the next 10 hours.
There we go.
Many of these new characters seem to be written with abrasive, condescending, or unlikable traits, often portrayed as...
Yeah, but they don't know that these are abrasive, unlikable traits. They think these are the right traits. And right, explicitly right, not the actually good traits, but the right traits.
Strength. Why also is strength increasingly depicted as being dismissive or outright rude? This often alienates players who want characters they can root for.
It's not really that. They just don't know how to be nice to each other, because how can you be nice to each other the moment if you actually, say one word wrong, there's a giant timeout, microaggressions, and all of that shit happens. You can't be nice to each other. That's also a fundamental flaw of the ideology. You cannot be nice to each other because interaction is so limited.
I don't understand this trend, like, to make the main characters so unlikable. So, like, over time you grow to like them, but why start out like that? I don't really understand it.
Again, this might be obvious for a lot of you, but at its core, I think this push for wokeism in gaming is rooted in personal hurt. These individuals perceive injustices in the world around them, whether real or imagined, and are lashing out in the only way they know how. They're tearing down systems they don't feel a part of, but in doing so, they're causing harm to the very industry they claim to care about. Another thing that reaffirms this idea for me is that the
claim to care about doesn't mean that they actually care about it. One of the most damning things about this ideology is the fact that everyone talks about how great it is, but no one actually supports it. these people don't really believe the things that they are saying. It's just effectively a way to be socially included, because anyone who, this is basic cult functions. Anyone who doesn't believe in it gets ousted and ignored by their community and left out to dry. So, if you're woke, you can't say that any of this is bad, because that will instantaneously put everyone as your enemy, because you're supposed to agree with this. This is why you see it so often that the left champions something, but when it actually comes to supporting something, they don't do it. You see this in games, Concord, Dustborn, Dragon Age Railguard, and whatnot. The woke audience just doesn't actually care. The woke audience does exist, but they're not gonna buy it because they don't fucking care. Same thing with a lot of leftist political YouTube channels. There are tons of leftists out there that have 2 million, 3 million subscribers, and yet they get like 1K views per video. Because they just, they just do the easy thing. They subscribe, and after they don't care. It's all just for show at the end of the day.
These people avoid any form of response or backlash by going into protection mode on their channels, or even blocking people that try to call them out. They don't want to converse. They want to attack and withdraw to avoid pain. Yes, gaming should be a space for everyone, regardless of race, gender, or background, but inclusion shouldn't mean tearing down others. If anything, it should mean building something better for everyone. The way wokeism is being pushed is obviously doing a painful disservice to the people in these communities. Some may then ask, what about the rude, toxic gamers that are so mean to me? Firstly, the cause and effect of going online is facing the RNG of toxicity. You don't have to go online. You don't have to climb in the bath and bathe in the toxicity that people throw in it. If you don't like it, disconnect, avoid it. If it affects you, stay away. You are doing yourself a disservice by going to the place that causes the most harm to you. When people like Cameron Wild say that they want to burn the gaming industry to the ground, they're not actually saying they want to destroy gaming as a concept. What they're saying is, they want to dismantle the culture they believe gaming represents. To them,
that's true.
Gaming isn't just an industry or a hobby. It's a symbol of everything they perceive to be wrong with the world. White male dominance, toxic masculinity, and exclusion. But here's the irony. The gaming industry has already evolved so much over the years. In the early days of gaming, the audience was predominantly male, and the games were designed to reflect that. But today...
And today it's still the same shit. All of the number of women gamers, 9 out of 10 of them come from literally just playing Candy Crush on mobile. After that, women gamers don't exist, okay? It's still white male dominated. Even The Sims are probably played by mostly white men only.
Gaming is for everyone. We've seen the rise of
Stardew Valley is 150% male dominated. That's the fucking male dream.
Written diverse characters, inclusive storylines, and games that cater to a wide range of players. Women make up a massive portion of gamers now, and developers are creating experiences that appeal to people.
No, they don't. Also, who played Life is Strange? Me, boys. I loved it. Again, people have it. Did you see it? Yes! Life is Strange is the best lesbian schoolgirl bully simulator I have ever played in my life. Best part, it's not intended like that, and when people saw how I finished the game and my choices, they called me a monster. Which does technically make sense, I guess, considering how I played this.
People of all ages, genders...
But it was great, boys, trust me.
...and cultures. The truth is...
Kate's self-deleting off a rooftop? Do a backflip! It was so good!
Gaming...
I didn't even know you could save her!
...is already inclusive. The idea that gaming is a closed-off boys' club is now a lie. It's a convenient myth made by those who want to justify their actions. And yet, despite this inclusivity, these same voices keep pushing for more radical changes. Why? Because their fight isn't about inclusion. It's about erasure. They want to erase what gaming is, and the culture that gaming was built on. Even if it means...
Well, they need to start fresh. That's also a huge part of the ideology, that you need to start from zero, because, you know, everything else is kind of bad.
Alienating the core audience that has supported the industry for decades. Take, for example, the attack on what they call toxic masculinity in gaming. There's nothing wrong with having games that feature strong masculine heroes, just like there's nothing wrong with having games.
Well, everything of that is bad in their eyes. I mean, it's an ideology that doesn't make a lot of sense. Anyway, that was Pada. 10 out of 10. Have a nice day. Bye bye.